All right, welcome to episode 9 of the Baali Chronicles. Now, our nest of Baali, minus Lamont, has decided to go to Elysium to see what kind of information they can shake loose from the court about the things they're looking into. It doesn't quite go the way they expect, so let's hold on and see what happens to these poor Baali. So, you guys basically pull this odd Yui for the night and start heading back towards where you just came from because Cliff Dwellers is right by the Art Institute. So you make your way back down there, park again in the same parking garage, step back out into the frigid evening air. At this point, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. You start walking towards the Art Institute. And you can see as you start approaching, as you walk through the back, towards the back entrance where you see like the employee parking lot. It's just a small thing right in the back of the Institute. It's not very prominent. You walk through that gated area towards that back entrance, and you can hear this argument transpiring already. And as you kind of step among the cars, and it's this field of just beautiful vehicles that are just stretched out through this small parking lot, you can see this African American man in a very nice suit, a bit on the more built side, leaning against this pure white stretch limousine with his arms across his chest. And he's just staring down this woman in a beautiful dress, but she's wearing this fur coat. And she's leaning on a nice, beautiful, like McLaren sports car. And they're just staring daggers at each other. And she's like, you know what? You're the most boring man I know. You just walk around like you're better than all of us. And you hear a, yeah, like he's better than all of us. You tell him where it's coming from, sister. And you look over and see, leaning against this like blue Toyota Stanza, is this guy who's been beaten to shit. He's got bruises all over his face. And Sullivan recognizes this. Actually, was it Sullivan or Preston that did it was Sullivan. Sullivan recognizes this as Sun's Ghoul. He's this like skinny white dude, white doctor wearing like a nice suit with one of those petticoat jackets that are over him to keep him from the cold. And he's just gesturing towards the guy against the limousine. He's like, you tell him, sister. He thinks he's better than everybody else. And as these ghouls are arguing amongst one another, you're just like, what the fuck is going on? But when they see Preston show up, they just stop because you're an actual Toreador that they recognize from walking into the court occasionally. And they're like, well, we can't disrespect our masters by just talking shit when you're right in the open.
Hey, no, by all means, carry on with what you're saying. I'm interested.
You hear this chuckle and you look over to the source and you see this guy looks looks Hispanic the way he's got his skin tone. He's got this short crop black hair, he's wearing a leather jacket and some blue jeans with just really like steel-toed boots on. He's sitting on the back of a motorcycle and there's another one by him. He's like, these guys, fuck them all. If y'all want to fight, fucking fight. Who gives a shit who's here? Just get it fucking over with. I'm tired of hearing this shit.
Whoa, what's everybody fighting about? What's the fight about?
The guy in the hog looks over at you. He's like, oh, this son of a bitch. He points over the guy by the limousine. Yeah, that's Mr. Winston. Just because he's with Jackson, he thinks he's better than all of us. And you see the girl just kind of like snort at him as she folds her arms over her chest. And the guy against the blue fucking Toyota is like, yeah, fuck him. He's just like all the rest of us. The guy on the bike's like, yeah, except that you are missing several teeth. So let's get that shit straight. Somebody whooped your ass tonight. Probably not the first time. And the guy's like, yeah, fuck you, and gives him the finger.
I won't linger too long because I think I get what's going on here. This is the help fucking blowing off steam. So we'll head on in.
The ghouls are arguing amongst themselves about whose master is better. So as you walk through that back employee entrance, you see again, well, for Preston anyways, that same guy who was watching the stairs at the Succubus Club is watching the back entrance here. When you walk up, he gives you a nod. He's like, sir. He goes to open the door for you and kind of pauses when he sees Sullivan. He's like, fuck it. And he just pushes the door open the rest of the way. He's like, please, enjoy yourselves.
Thanks.
I'll just kind of have my head hung a little low, thanks. I'll just walk in.
You guys walk in and the door closes behind you and you start walking through the back hallways of the Art Institute. And on either side of this service hall. First off, the floor is not the nice tile you're used to stepping on. It's this bare ass concrete. And for Sullivan, this is a common thing in the service halls, in museums, and other like academia places, and anywhere in general, really. All the back stuff is creature comforts at best. It's what's in
More
public.
for function.
Yep, it's what's in public that looks nice. And you're walking by these storage lockers and these storage rooms off to the side of the hallway, and you make it out into one of the main gallery areas. Where you step out from is actually in the Impressionist gallery. So it's got Monet's and Renoir, a bunch of just brilliant artists from, that era of Impressionism. And among these pictures, you can see several Toreador are just kind of making their way. And for Preston, you recognize all of them. You've got Brett Stryker, who is kind of a former toy/child of Annabelle. He's a very beautiful, very striking young man, very attractive, and he's just kind of like wandering through the art, like he's paying attention to it, but it's only for show. He doesn't really care. You see Annabelle far off by Monet's haystacks. She's just kind of looking over them. With her, you see Dr. Benway, the good gentleman you talked to at the Succubus Club. In addition to that, you also see Nero, who is an elder Toreador who has woken up rather recently. He's speaking with who you know to be his child, Kathy Glens, who is also in the band Baby Chorus. And they're talking very quietly, respectful distance, maybe 5 or 10 feet away from Annabelle. And they're gesturing respectfully to the paintings in front of them, as if they're analyzing it because they're with Annabelle and that's what they're expected to do. Off to the side, you see, standing by himself, is an African-American gentleman, probably in his late 50s, graying hair at his temples. He's got a cane, a very nice ornate cane. Like it's stained wood, and the top and the handle is like this etched like steel. He's leaning at it, looking around. You recognize that as Dusable of the Clan Tremere.
All right. Yep.
And you hear scattered conversation in some of the other gallery rooms. You can't quite see who's in there yet, but these are the individuals you do see right now.
All right. Well, I want to make sure that I am seen here by my clan. But I also don't want to just walk up and start trying to talk to like an Annabelle or something, because that would be.
I'm going to do Sean a favor, and once we make it in here, I'm going to break off.
Okay.
And I'm going to start being the looky-loo that's trying to stay out of direct conversation, because it's not where I would be appropriately. I am here if needed, is what I'm doing.
So
I will always play up to what I am.
So the room you guys walk into is mainly Renoir, and that's where you see Dusable in the corner. The next gallery room right over is where you saw Annabelle and her like orbit of clan members. Do you want to go? Does Sullivan want to stay in the room with Dusable, or go into like an adjacent room and just kind of like, I'm just here situation?
Since it looks like the majority of the higher status individuals are, well, it's hard to say because Dusable's not necessarily a higher status individual.
No, the
per se.
Tremere clan has no seat in the government of Chicago currently.
I will stay here, but I will definitely wander near some of the other rooms just to get an ear on who might be in there. So I can know if it's people of lower standing, okay, I can probably go in this room. Or if it's the prince fucking throwing it down with the seneschal, I'm not going to break into that one.
Right. No, that's completely understandable, and I wouldn't want to be there either. When you step off to the side a little bit, and for Preston, you kind of feel Sullivan break orbit from you and kind of wander about on his own around this gallery. The paintings are really well done. Obviously, they're appreciated. They're in the museum for a reason. It may not really be Sullivan's taste, so he's kind of giving lip service as he kind of looks around. Dusable watches you briefly, but his attention's really not going to be on a caitiff. He has not a lot of like love to give you. He doesn't really care that you're here. So as you walk by
the benefit of me doing this too is people probably, I could get close enough to hear some shit and they'll just talk because I'm a caitiff, and if I repeat any of that, they will fuck me over anyways. So, it allows me to gain some info for my people at least.
Right, you're the help, and nobody cares about talking around the help because you're faceless.
Exactly.
You kind of
Exactly.
round the room and get to the adjacent room entrance and just kind of linger there for a minute to kind of feel out like what's in the next area. And you hear a familiar voice that you heard just earlier tonight talking with another female. And it's Tracy Graves, the Tremere. And she's talking with a woman who has a subtle Chinese accent. And that woman with the accent saying, "So what did you offer?" And you hear Graves go, "I didn't offer anything they didn't ask for. They just want to learn how to speak, or how to read Akkadian. It's not a big deal." And you hear the other one go, "Well, what do they want translated? Like, what's the purpose?" And you kind of hear like an audible shrug almost, where you get that little intake of breath and like a sigh of like, "Fuck it, I don't know," from Tracy. And she says, "Well, what they produced were a bunch of things we already saw from the Field Museum, so clearly there's something else beneath that they want to get into." And you hear the other one go, "Yeah, but they're just, one's a caitiff. Like, what is he going to do with it?" And you hear Tracy go, "Well, I wouldn't sell him short because he knew his topic." And at that point, you hear those voices kind of turn to more of a murmuring as they walk subtly away from the entrance. And you hear their footsteps recede farther from you.
I need to give me some of that heightened senses is what I need to do. So yeah, but I'll just be lingering and kind of
Okay. As
doing
Preston
my Snoop thing. You know,
watch-
Snooper's gonna snoop.
Yeah. As Preston watches Sullivan kind of go and linger by a doorway, he feels a presence walk up behind him. And a subtle, like, clearing of a throat from a female that's just lurking just beyond his field of view just comes to the fore and goes,
I'll turn.
"You see Portia? She's wearing this nice vinyl jacket that's cut to her figure. She's got these like sunglasses that are on that just kind of band across her entire eyes, and her black straight hair is just hung down, but very stylish, very much in a stylish manner for the modern day. She's wearing a skirt and some knee-high boots, and you can see like black stockings from what you can see of her thigh from just above her knee to where the boots start. Decided to come by finally?
Couldn't stay away.
I understand. We can't always stay away from family for too long, even if we are errant children."
Well, I'm here now. I plan to be here more. I don't really have anything to say. I don't really have any excuses.
There's no excuses necessary. You came back, and that's the important thing. And she'll actually go to put her arm around you, like around your shoulders, and subtly tries to guide you into the room where Annabelle's looking at the art with her other attaché.
I'll go with Ray. I'm trying to play off being just absolutely floored by this individual, just because like the image that I have in my head of like who she is and the presence that she has. Like I'm trying to like role play that out, like
Yeah.
how like the impact of that would be. Like I would be probably flabbergasted a little bit.
Her presence is ridiculously potent, and even she can't really hide it all. Even with her mask as this 20-year-old like young Toreador, that innate power of her personality naturally seeps through, and it's almost like she's using presence on you without meaning to do it.
Yeah.
And as you are kind of guided by her and swept into the other room, you feel almost elation, like safety. There's something here with her that you are safe with her. And despite the fact that she's not really known too much as anything else other than a young Toreador, you believe that there's nothing that would come in here that she couldn't handle.
Right.
And with this confidence, you guys stroll into that next room among the haystacks of Monet. You see Annabelle turn and just kind of look over in your direction. And she kind of tilts her head and her brow just barely raises just a little bit in curiosity. And you see the corner of Portia's lips just kind of twist up a little bit in a sly smirk as she kind of gives your shoulder a soft squeeze and releases you. And as she does that, she kind of pushes you forward a little bit towards Brett Stryker and Annabelle and gives you a small little pat on the small of your back. She's like, "I let you loose."
Thank you for your guidance.
Anything. It's not a problem at all. And you see her distract herself with some of the paintings. The glasses are kind of kept close to her eyes, however. But from somebody who is a liar and a deceiver, such as yourself, you recognize the fact that she's just here for appearances. She has no true desire to be here. She's here because it's something she's expected to have done. And as she kind of gestures you forward, you kind of see Annabelle turn on her heel. And when that happens, you see the doctor, the guy you talked to, he's like, his jaw opens, like it falls a little bit. He's like, oh. And then he like catches himself and like, recomposes himself and watches as Annabelle herself takes a step towards you. And she extends a hand. But it's not in a way of like she's going to shake your hand. She gives it to you palm down as if she's expecting you to take it.
I will take her hand.
As you do so, she just pauses as you guys are in this nice casual conversational distance and waits to see what you do with it. Now, how much etiquette do you have?
I don't.
Okay. Would you like to phone a friend? And by this I mean, would you like to make a wits roll?
I would.
Just base. All right, feel free.
Straight wits.
Straight wits, you just need one. You got it. All right, so you got your one success. The way she offered her hand to you and the way that it forces you to take it, she's expecting you to kiss her hand.
Ah, okay. I'll absolutely kiss her hand.
Once you do that, she releases your grip and smiles pleasantly at you, although there's not really a feel of warmth behind that gesture. It's just the gesture itself. Mr. Caulfield?
That's right.
Yes.
I'm pleased that you know my name.
Well, James, and she'll actually very casually gesture towards the doctor, informed me that he spoke with you, and I was very pleasantly surprised to hear that you were very much wishing to get more involved with our family.
I committed also to being at court more, and I'm here to make good on that promise and on that commitment.
Excellent. I'm very happy to hear that. And I know that from whispers that a member of your coterie is a very accomplished tattoo artist.
That's right. He's one of the best.
I can't quite say that I really appreciate that art form as much as perhaps I should, but I'm always very pleased to have more members of our family here that are capable and can represent us properly. Should you two be members of that sort, then we will get along swimmingly.
Perfect. It sounds like we absolutely will.
Walk with me?
Certainly.
And she'll turn and she'll head towards the opposite exit that you came in from, leaving Nero, his childer, and Portia behind, as you guys will walk into a gallery area that's not quite as lit as well. It's a little dimmer. And as you walk that direction, her heels clicking on the hardwood floor of the gallery is echoing among the sounds of this room because it's pretty much empty aside from you all. She'll guide you through that room and through another hallway, and as you start walking through that hallway, you'll hear voices a little heated on the other end that are just kind of filtering down through the empty air. She wears a bit of a tight smile, and she speaks to you without looking at you. She's like, I've heard that you know of the Elysium that have come to visit our fine city.
I'm aware that they're here, and I saw one the other night, and I don't know anything else because I got as far away as I could, as I'm told that we're supposed to do.
Where was this that you saw this Elysium?
This was at the Succubus Club.
Oh, yes, Sierra.
Right. Yes.
Yes. Well, rumor has it that Prince Jackson is humoring their presence in the city for some sort of deal that he's looking to make. Now, I appreciate you bringing this knowledge of the Elysium you have seen to my attention. I know what she was there for. We had words already, and they're here tonight. What I'm going to ask you to do may seem uncomfortable.
Okay.
I would like you to make friends with them. You're a newcomer to the city. There are no expectations to you. I know that Sun has recorded some boons that he owes you with me. I'm not quite sure what you've done to have Mr. Newberry grant a trivial boon to all three of you in your coterie, and I'm not going to ask because, quite frankly, I don't want to know. But that alone, that exchange, has put you on the mark of individuals within the city that are willing to do potentially unsavory tasks because you're dealing with Mr. Newberry. And as friendly as he appears on the outside, and if you have not realized this, then I will warn you now, he is not a friendly individual. He is not a sane individual. And that's more than just his clan's proclivity towards the unknown and erratic behavior.
Yes, I've already seen shades of that, but yes, I appreciate the warning.
Good. That being said, with this reputation that's now going to follow your name, you trying to get in with La Sombra would seem a natural extension of your dealing with unsavory characters. Now, of course, you understand, publicly, I may have to look down upon this.
Understandable, because I'm certain that anybody that I run into is going to ask me if what I'm doing is a representation of what our clan feels should be done towards these visitors, and of course I'll have to continue to be evasive.
Or just say you don't care.
Or just say I don't care.
Either one will work just fine. Whatever you think is best. Frankly, it doesn't concern me. What concerns me is we have somebody inside who knows what they're here for. And that's what I want to know. And with tonight's little fireworks display that kind of harried their ability to get to Elysium in a proper time when the prince had announced they would be here, they're already looking bad and more than likely are getting more and more desperate. So they're looking for allies. You guys at this point will have kind of traveled about halfway down this hallway. The voices are getting a little more powerful, and you hear this like Eastern European accent, either Czechoslovakian or even partially Russian, is just angrily speaking loud. You can't make out the words because it's actually in another language, but they definitely sound angry.
I'll just remark offhandedly to Annabelle. Hate to be on the receiving end of that ire, whatever's going on in there.
Well, then you better make friends quickly, because that's Mr. Malenkov. He's one of the Sombra in question in the city. Now, you'll probably have better luck with Sierra, the one that I've met already and that you saw. Malenkov is a bit of a harsh individual. He has very demanding opinions of how he thinks things should go, and he has a tendency to insult everybody around him, as if trying to provoke them.
That's good to know.
Indeed it is. You're about a third of the way from the door, and you'll see that as you kind of go around these benches that have been set up in the middle of this hallway and the occasional statuary that's kind of on display as you walk from one section to the next, you guys go around that and you see two guards to either side of this double doors that are open. They're held open by the guards. You can see they're in nice suits, but they also are obviously carrying themselves as if they're ready for combat at any instant. Like they have this like aura of just being constantly at the ready to throw down. You walk through these doors and you see this room filled of unused statuary. It was probably a attraction or display that's still in progress and still being put on, because half the statues and the artwork are still in crates. And all around you, there's this smell of like that particle board and wood and some dust and sawdust in the air of an unused space that's just waiting to be like cleaned out, but hasn't been seen to yet. And you can see this like powerfully built man. He's got this bald head. He's got a beard and a goatee. He's got a lot of rings on his right hand, and he's smoking a cigar inside the museum, and he's berating Sierra in whatever language he's speaking, and she's just staring at him passively, like waiting for the storm to pass. About 20 yards beyond them, you see Prince Jackson is standing with Ballard next to him and all his rotund glory, and the seneschal, who is also another Ventru. He's wearing a pair of like circular glasses that are a little dusty. I believe his name is Sullivan. Let me look him up really quick. There he is. Alan Sovereign is the name of the Ventru seneschal. He looks like an accountant. He's wearing a white like dress shirt with a charcoal gray vest. His hair is white and grayed and kind of pushed over in like that, like a pullover type style. And he's just standing calmly to the right hand of the prince. To the left hand is where you see Ballard. And Ballard's just kind of shaking his head at this display in front of him as Malenkov is yelling. Now, when Annabelle and you enter, you see Jackson kind of look up and see the two of you. And when Jackson looks at you, it's an appraising stare. Like, he's obviously trying to figure out why you're with Annabelle and why you're here. Whereas Ballard just kind of looks at you and frowns a bit. With that, we'll cut back to Sullivan. Sullivan's been creeping around some of the other exhibits and going through the other rooms that are on display and are actually open right now to the public, quote unquote, as it were. You run into a couple different kindred, some of which you know from having kind of lingered around court, most of which you don't. Like, you see Genghis, the Anarch, off in one corner talking with Balthazar, who's actually here, and angry as fuck. Balthazar doesn't even look at you. He just seems to be arguing with fucking Genghis for whatever reason. Genghis, for his part, is like, man, shut the fuck up. I ain't got time for your shit right now. And it's just this, like, back and forth where Balthazar's like, no, you need to fucking listen to me. And Balthazar's like, I don't have to, Balthazar. Genghis is like, I don't have to listen to shit that you're having to say. You're just spewing fucking nonsense. Calm yourself the fuck down. We got bigger fish to fry. At that point, they start talking about the Lasombra. Genghis is not fucking happy that the Lasombra are here. He's like, these motherfuckers need to go. Balthazar's like, who the fuck cares? They're just another git. They're the dark reflection of the Ventru. And Genghis just stares at him like, are you that fucking stupid? Like, get it through your hick fucking mind that this is a different level of threat. And this starts this, like, almost meaningless argument between the two of them. Once you pass them, you run into Damien, who's off in the corner with Nero, as they've kind of filtered on through the rest of the gallery, and Nero's child, Kathy. Kathy is talking to Damien about sets that they want to play at Cobra Lounge, when they should practice nets. When you walk by, Damien just catches your eye and just gives you a brief nod.
I will give him a respectful nod as well.
Now, the teen seems to be watching almost everybody that kind of wanders through this area. Damien's only, like, really a young teenager, but he's been gifted with this incredible level of power. You know that he's not that old, but you do know he had to be a considerable strength to have been made sheriff at such a young age. And rumor has it that his sire, Critias, personally put him forth to be the sheriff of the city under Kevin Jackson. Now, Critias you don't see here tonight. He doesn't seem to be present. The only Brujah you really see that are made of anything is probably just Damien, really. Nero's a Toreador. Kathy's obviously a Toreador. You pass by the two Tremere in their corner, talking quietly amongst each other. As you're making your circuit, you start making your way on back to kind of see who else is kind of hiding amongst the individuals. You run across a very attractive African-American girl. She's probably late 20s, early 30s at the latest. She's wearing a very stylish, like, leopard print top and these, like, black vinyl pants. She's talking with Portia, and they're talking about something called the Blood Disco. And this woman is saying, you should come down sometime. It's a lot of fun. We get into a lot of craziness. And let me tell you, you'll never be hungry. And Portia just smiles at her and gives her this creepy look. Like, from what you can see behind the glasses and her facial features, she's like, oh, I'm always hungry, dear. And as you walk by that conversation, you see the reflection of those glasses kind of take you in. And as you walk by, Portia's vision follows you.
That's not disconcerting at all. I will keep moving away.
As you move away, she breaks away from the woman she was discussing the blood disco with, and you hear the click-clack of her boots on the ground as she walks behind you. Moreover, you feel her presence behind you.
I'll stop because it's rude to walk away from someone who is clearly walking towards you now, and I'll turn and I will. I'm setting myself up for fucking failure because, but I'm gonna attempt to play again the supplicant, the like, well, do you need me? Is there something I could do for you type deal? Not like, what the fuck, can I do something? Like, ma'am, can I do something? You know. But I know who I'm dealing with, so no matter how much I try to fake it.
She smiles at you very pleasantly, and she reaches out and puts a hand on your shoulder. She gives you a subtle squeeze, almost as if she's trying to comfort you, but this is a wolf comforting a sheep. And
right.
Jeff
like,
understands
I'll eat you
this.
later.
Right.
Oh, yes.
When she looks at you, she kind of tilts her head to the side just a bit, and she leans in, to leave like maybe a foot of space between the two of you. And when she speaks, you can smell the blood on her breath. Fresh, by the way. But it's not the blood of kine. It has a more pungent aroma to it. You were at the yacht club.
Son of a bitch. I'll just yacht club.
Yes. Why?
It was there was something, I don't know. I don't know if it was a noise or a feeling, or I wanted to go see what was going on. There were lights on.
What did you see?
I saw. I'll just kind of look around for a second.
As you look around, she just, don't lie to me, because I'll know. And it's okay. You're afraid.
I saw people dancing, and one of the new city denizens.
It's okay. Thank you. I'm not even going to ask. I don't need to ask. And she'll kind of lean in, and you'll feel her get closer and closer as her presence just starts to overwhelm your senses. Mm-hmm. And you smell this like brief like whiff of incense and clove, and this cloying like smell of just the barest bit of decay. And then you'll feel these 2 needle pricks on your neck as she'll just sup the tiniest bit from you. When she does that, you feel...
I'll close my eyes because I have to play into that because I know who she is. I know what she's capable of. I know what she's doing to me out of game and how to react in game. So I would have to give into it. That's...
The moment those fangs pierce your skin, it's a sensation of pure bliss. Like, you felt the kiss before, your sire's done it to you, you remember how that sensation felt when he embraced you, and you know what you do to other people when you enacted upon them, and she enacted upon you effortlessly. And as she drains just a tiniest bit of blood from you and pulls back, you feel that warm wash of her tongue just kind of lick over the wound to seal it. But with that blood, you felt your sensations and thoughts while you're at the yacht club get pulled from you through your essence as she is sucked from you. And she steps back, pats you on the shoulder. I understand.
I'll let out a slow exhale as I'll open my eyes and be amazed. I've never felt that before.
When you look around you, there's nobody else in this room with you guys. Everybody else, you can hear the distant echo conversations, like maybe a room or two over. You don't know when this happened, but you've been pulled at least a room or two further from just the moment where she moved in to lean to talk to you and released you from her fangs. That time, you have no idea where it went and what happened. You just know that you are awash in a sea of warm comfort and bliss, and then she's back in front of you saying, it's okay, I understand.
I'll just be in awe of her. I mean,
she'll turn very quietly away from you. Like, you don't even hear her heels as they click on the floor beneath you. And as she starts walking back towards the conversation you can hear just in the distance, she pauses and looks over her shoulder and says, we'll be in touch.
I'll just nod.
As you nod,
that's rough.
She just kind of gives you like the slight inclination of her head back. What you saw, we'll hunt together. And she joins the rest of the conversation. Back to Preston. You're standing there with Annabelle. This argument's going on. Annabelle clears her throat, and even Malenkov stops and looks back at her and goes, what the fuck do you want? And she just looks at him and says, oh, me, dear? Your death. But that's neither here nor there. We're in Elysium, we're safe. Right now, I want you to shut up and enjoy the ambiance that Prince Jackson has bestowed upon you for the evening and his good graces. He seems to consider her for a minute, and you can feel and see that rebellion start to rise up in his chest. Like, he starts to kind of lean in like he's going to say something to her, but then reconsiders it and backs down. For Preston, you feel just the barest flare of her personality just kind of burst to the fore there for a moment. that makes him reconsider his actions. She looks over at you, then looks over at him, and says, I found someone you might enjoy talking to because he's, well, about as well respected here as you. And she'll walk away from you and start heading towards Prince Jackson. You'll see Malenkov scoff and watch her depart, and then look back at you. Serena looks at you, Sierra looks at you as well, and just kind of sighs. And looks at Malenkov and goes, are we done now? Can we discuss like normal people and you can stop yelling and making a fool out of yourself? He just kind of grunts, looks at Preston, looks at Sierra, and starts storming down the hallway you had just come in through, leaving you and Sierra alone at the edge of that hallway, the mouth of it. And she just kind of takes a deep breath and lets it out, almost like relief that he's gone, and gives you a smile politely. I believe I saw you at the Succubus Club the other night.
Yes, I regret that we didn't get the chance to say hello and become acquainted at that point.
Well, let's make amends now. Seems like I'm left without a discussion partner or yelling match partner, and you are left without your escort, so perhaps we can discuss.
I'm happy to oblige. My name is Preston. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Sierra, pleasure. She'll kind of gesture towards like a shallow alcove not that far away from the hall. Shall we?
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys kind of adjoin to that small area. And once you're there, she looks back at the prince. You can see Jackson's talking with Annabelle and Ballard. And she looks at you and says, let's let pretenses fade here. I know that Annabelle has probably sent you over to try to be our friend.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Yes. I believe that you and I are stuck in a bit of a show for everyone else, for lack of a better word.
I'm hopeful that maybe we can help each other.
How so?
In that situation? Well, maybe I can help you out with something, and maybe you can help me out with my situation.
What's your situation, and how can I help you? I'm not exactly a member of your club, so to speak, yet.
Well, it would just be, I mean, obviously there wouldn't be any official organizational backing behind any exchange of favors. It would just be one individual to another entering into a mutual friendly agreement, we'll call it. You, I think, are very much insightful enough to understand exactly why Annabelle brought me over here. And I'm obviously not expecting that you would just spill all your secrets and I would know everything that was going on. But if you could, over time, maybe we can build a mutual trust and you can give me just enough to where I don't look like an asshole to my clan and I could do something for you.
Preston, you said, right?
Yes.
Let's be fair. Your Annabelle believes that my former allegiances were ones of pure chaos and anarchy and violence, and that we didn't deal with politics. This ploy of hers is child's play. I understand what she's doing. I know why she's doing it, and just as you do, as you have plainly said to me right now, I'm not here to be your friend. You're not here to be mine. We're stuck together, and as you say, maybe we can make it mutually beneficial. I have my Lankov on my shoulder, demanding to know what the fuck we're doing here from our sire, Talia the Hound. I'm here to petition for us to be given admittance into your secret club of fanboys and fangirls of your inner circle. That being said, it's pretty much at this point public knowledge among your hierarchy, so I'm not giving you any tidbit that isn't already out there. Maybe if somebody doesn't know, you can sell it to them. Congratulations, have fun. I really don't care. What I do care about is making sure that myself and the people with me survive until we can make our offer to your prince. And the reason I'm saying this to you is because tonight alone, we had 3 vehicles blow up in our path to get here. That made us over an hour late to meet with your prince, which clearly did not make us look good, which means that somebody in your city is trying to sabotage us very deliberately. Now, since you are low on the totem pole, that means that you don't have a lot to give me in terms of favors, and since I am non-existent and persona non grata in your society, I have no favors within that society structure that I can give you. However, I can give you free information and material things outside of that circuit of favors. That being said, if you know who amongst yours is trying to set me and mine up, I will pay you in hard currency, in ghouls, in material things if you wish.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I'll look into it. I'll, you know, see what I can find out.
If you're looking more for an information trade, I'm also willing to do that.
What kind of information are you looking for?
Well, I mean, I can give you information.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Well, I mean, I'll tell you. I heard of. I don't know how familiar you may be with such things, but I heard somebody mention to me at the Succubus Club when we didn't get a chance to meet that there's this cult of Shalim that's in the city, and it's something that I've never heard of. And I'm not sure like how versed in like that sort of thing that you might be. If you have any information on that.
She kind of looks at you curiously. She's like, "You heard of this here in the city, just in discussion?"
Yeah.
Interesting. I know about them. I know generally that they're nihilists. I know the basis of what they do, and I know who they are in the city, if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, I mean, I was told I don't have a name, but I was told there's a rabbi in the southwest in the city somewhere who was involved in that particular organization, perhaps. But that's really all that I know.
She smiles slightly. She's like, "Yes, I know exactly who you're talking about and where he is."
Would it be outside of the realm of possibility that I might be able to have a conversation with this rabbi just to learn a little bit more about what they're about? I'm curious.
I could arrange that if you give me good information.
Agreed.
Excellent. Do you have an email or a phone number that you wish to use?
Yeah, I've got a phone number that I can give you, and I'll give her my number.
She'll write it down. Like you'll see, she'll pull up this really small, nice handbag, pull out a small piece of paper and a pen, and she'll write down your number. Then she'll flip over the paper, write down a phone number, and rip it off and hand it to you.
All right, I'll take it, pocket it.
Excellent. Maybe we can salvage something good of this bullshit situation after all.
I hope so. That's my goal.
I do need to give you a heads up, however. If I'm going to be in your club, I should probably start by being straightforward with your members, including one in the totem pole position such as you are, which is, if you fuck me, you may not live to regret it.
I hear you loud and clear. I wouldn't dream of it.
Excellent. We can do business. As long as that's out in the open. I want to make sure that the warning's open and clear and that we understand each other fully. Just as I will be sure that I am clear with you and the information I provide is valid.
You made this crystal clear, and I agree fully.
Excellent. Well, Mr. Preston, have a good night. I think I'm going to try to find out where Malenkov's going to so I can make sure he doesn't break anything.
Very well. He seems pretty angry. I will not hold you up.
Indeed. And she'll kind of take a step back, give you a small, not quite a bow, but just an inclination towards you to basically say goodbye. And you'll hear her heels clack as she walks down the hallway after the storming off La Sombra. Elysium after that is pretty quiet. That was the big thing going on tonight. There was a lot of people on nerve and on edge about the idea that they were even here. Mind you, everybody's allowed Elysium. Nobody really can be barred from it. But the fact that they actually showed up, that's an entirely different story altogether. And it kind of gets the people being a little nervous, to be honest. For Sullivan, you hear a lot of whispers going around that the La Sombra are here. Oh my God, can you believe that two of them showed up? And that one guy's a monster. And towards the end of the night, before Preston comes back, you actually see Malenkov storm off the way you guys came in. This massive, like, either Russian or Ukrainian individual. He looks just powerful. The way he holds himself, like he's looking to beat somebody's ass. And he storms through the gallery, doesn't give a shit about anything around him. Dusable watches him like a hawk. The moment he walks by, that man's eyes are on him, and you just see him watch every move the man makes as he leaves Elysium. You don't see Portia again. Once she leaves your side, she seems to be gone for the evening. But after Preston's meeting, he eventually kind of makes his way out, because Preston kind of gets the feeling that he's not really welcome once Sierra's gone in that particular chamber. You know, you get the occasional side glance like, you shouldn't be here. Nobody asked you to leave, but it's kind of clear that they want you to leave.
Yeah, I'll wait until Sierra has left, so it's not like I'm following her out.
Right.
And then I'll wait an appropriate amount of time, and then I'll just casually fuck off.
All right. You head on out. You meet up with Sullivan again. Sullivan seems a little shaken, perhaps.
Maybe a little, yeah, I wouldn't say shaken. Let's say wobbly, almost like a lingering high.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, well, I don't know. We'll talk.
All right. Yeah, we'll talk. Let's get the fuck out of here before anything else happens.
We'll be allowed to get the fuck out of here.
You guys walk out through the back area, and when you get outside, you can see that all the ghouls you saw before have been slaughtered. They are ripped apart, blood splayed over the vehicles that they were set to watch by their masters and mistresses. They look like they've been ripped apart by wild animals. And you see Sierra standing at the edge of the parking lot, watching this car speed off away from the Art Institute. And she's just like,
I'll grab your shoulder and pull you down. I'll be like, holy fuck, that was the angry fucking Lasombra, I bet.
Yep, I'm sure it was. We don't need to hide. We're okay.
Let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
you guys just take
Not a
off?
problem.
Like, fuck this, we're leaving?
No, I'll how far away is she? Like how far out of our way is where she is?
She's at the end of she's basically at the entrance of the parking lot to the street that kind of leads into the back here of the Art Institute. I'd say probably 50, 60 feet away from you guys.
Okay. I'll like approach her, but not like in a sneaky way. Like, like I'll just approach her.
You step towards her. You see her as she hears your footsteps, both of you. She spins on her heels, and when she kind of comes around, she's got both fists clenched, like almost like they're coming up, like being raised as she's gonna fight somebody, like she's expecting somebody to attack her. Her eyes are solid black, and the shadows around her, just over her body, are snapping back and forth and writhing. When she sees you, as you take a step back, she's like, "I'm sorry." And you see her kind of force herself to a calm. She takes a deep breath and lets it out. She relaxes her hands, and the shadows slowly start to just drip back to normal across her body.
I'm guessing that this is Malenkov's handiwork.
Yes.
Do you need a ride? Did he leave without you? Can we give you a ride?
No, I have a vehicle. I just I have to explain this to the prince and assure him that it was no one else from my family that did this.
Understood. Just want to check in, make sure you're okay, see if you need anything.
Of course.
I'll let you go about your business.
I apologize for being brief, but I have to see to this now.
Totally understandable.
She'll just kind of give Sullivan a very curt nod of acknowledgement as she walks past you, and she's just beelining for the door. She's not like hurrying, but she's walking like somebody who's just determined and very, very angry. Like you can feel that she's containing her rage. Yes. Yeah. And she goes straight on through the doors, leaving you guys outside with all the dead bodies.
Yeah, let's leave.
Yeah, we're gonna fuck off.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't want to be around caught with dead bodies in the parking lot.
Nope.
Where do you guys want to go?
We're probably gonna go home after the many events of tonight. I will explain in the car. That young Toreador girl, Portia, she approached me and knew that at least I was at the yacht club. But then she fed from me. And I felt her drink my memories.
That's not good.
As you say it, the memory's hazy itself. Like, wait, did she? Yeah, I think she did. I'm pretty sure she did, but you're like, but did she? It's like you're doubting your entire recollection of that event.
Well, what memories? Like all of them? All of them? Like all of them?
It was, she just asked about the yacht club, so I think it was just the yacht club.
Well, that's
I
also...
don't know. She did something to me. I think it was that, but it might not have been that. It's never happened before, but it gave me like almost a high feeling. And then I do remember though, she did say, "Don't worry, we'll hunt her together."
Her? We'll hunt her?
Yeah, I think, because if it was about the yacht club, then it had to have been about Narissa.
How did she know we were at the yacht club?
I don't know.
The only one that saw us was Narissa.
But Narissa didn't even see me. Because last thing I remember is falling into the cold water.
She just saw Lamont.
Yeah,
Right.
Narissa saw Lamont.
but we
Okay.
saw her. But how did she know that we were there in the first place? But
Well, I talked to her too, and
I don't
she
know.
didn't say shit to me.
Maybe
But
I'm the lucky one.
But what she did do is serve me up to the wolves because now I got to be friends with Sierra, the Lasombra.
It's not necessarily a bad thing.
No, it's fine, but what it does is solidifies that they think I'm a piece of shit, which I guess is fine. But it's nice to know. But at the same time, it's like, you know how it is because they think you're an even bigger piece of shit. So you know how
Right.
this feels.
But it feels good to know that we're better than them because they serve their baser needs. We serve things greater.
Yeah, it's a me.
We will always be better than all of them.
It's a means to an end. But this presents an opportunity because I think I know what to do with Balthazar.
Oh, good. Good.
Because the 3 vehicles that exploded, that was to delay the Lasombra from getting to court tonight. It was to make them late so that they looked bad to the prince. And it was Newberry that did it because Newberry is paranoid as fuck about the Lasombra for some reason. He fucking freaks out and hates them. So in exchange for giving me information on how to get in touch with somebody about the cultivar, I'm supposed to give her information about who was responsible for that. I think we should give him Balthazar.
I think that would be a good fucking idea. Second part, too, that I almost forgot to mention. Before Portia broke off from who she was talking to, which was a very lovely Nubian woman,
she was fucking. She's beautiful, fucking beautiful,
just gorgeous, like goddess. They were talking about something called the blood disco. Ever heard of that? And that if you were part of the blood disco or have gone to the blood disco, you would never be hungry again. And all I heard Portia say was, "I'm always hungry," but we're always hungry anyway.
Roll your intelligence and occult. Your specialization does apply.
So that's a bonus of 1 intelligence.
Wow, good fucking roll.
You have. This is not necessarily from anything related to the other cults in the city, except for one, the Bahari. The blood disco is some sort of almost hedonistic affair or pageant that's just brought on to honor Lilith. But it's not the way the Bahari would go about it. Like there's no like pain, no sacrifice, no torment, no stepping beyond that pain. It's just literally, it seems to be some sort of blood orgy in the name of the goddess.
All right.
From what you gather, like you have never been, you do know that given the description that Sullivan kind of expresses to Preston, the woman that Portia was talking to is Urzuli. She is a follower of Lilith. Clearly, she's proudly, openly a follower of Lilith and holds the blood disco to honor her. It doesn't really fall within the Bahari, but the Bahari let it go on because it doesn't really... It's like PR, essentially, for the cult. It doesn't paint them in a bad light, even though it doesn't really hit the main parts of religion. It's just like, hey, here's somebody who's openly worshiping the goddess, and she's cool, right? She's providing blood and good time, so that means that we might have potential recruits. So they let the blood disco go on.
Okay. Yeah, so blood disco is basically a blood orgy in the name of Lilith, but not in like the Bahari way where it's like there's pain and suffering involved. It's just hedonistic pageantry, basically.
Is that what happens every Friday night, maybe at that warehouse?
Could be.
With those guys that were street preaching?
Could be. I mean, there's only one way to find out.
Yeah, man, this city fucking, even without us here, this city's crazy. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but that person is Urzuli is her name.
I don't think I've ever seen her before, but she's gorgeous.
Yeah, she's a follower of Lilith, but again, not Bahari.
Fair enough.
I don't know. So I don't know. I think when Sun does whatever he does to Balthazar, we'll volunteer to hang on to the body, and Son's already fucking paranoid. So we tell him, hey, the Lasombra are onto you. We'll just give him Balthazar, and they'll believe it because Balthazar is unhinged, untrusted, unliked as it is. And then we've done Son a favor by getting the Lasombra heat off of him, and we've done the Lasombra a favor by solving their little problem.
And we've done the city a favor because now we've gotten information and we have dark deeds on both ends if need be, if we're caught in a sticky situation.
Yeah.
High five.
All right, so you guys make it home without incident, and we will call it there for the night. I can tell you right now, this episode did not go anywhere any of the players involved thought it was going to go. From Portia to Sierra to Malenkov to Annabelle, things just started piling on top of one another for the group tonight. So they handled it pretty well, and let's see what happens when they catch Lamont up to speed about what went down tonight in his absence. See you then.